Hello, everyone. It's Alice. I am back for another Happy at Home creative session. Welcome back. I run the Scrap Happy membership at scraphappy.org. If you are looking for, or maybe you don't know that you're looking for, a creative community that is warm and welcoming and will inspire you to make lots of scrapbooking pages, then Scrap Happy is what you're looking for. So please check us out. You can actually go and sign up for my email list, and then you can kind of learn a little bit more of what we do. It's right here. I'll pop it up there now, scraphappy.org/subscribe. Okay, let's dive into what we're doing today. I'm so excited. Yesterday, I had the chance to play with washi tape. And I'm going to tell you, like, I am not, I haven't used my washi tape. It's sitting right there. It's sitting right there. All of those pretty rolls sitting right there. And I almost never use it. But yesterday changed things. And I am excited. So I can't wait to show you the finished results. So if you joined us yesterday, you'll know that we were playing with washi tape. One of the first things we did was make a little washi tape banner. Let me show you. Is this gonna, yay, it's working. Okay, so a little washi tape banner. And those are fun and simple, and when you have a nice group of colors, they're super adorable. This one doesn't want to sit. But yeah, a cute little banner to put onto a page. I would maybe even make more banners and string more across here, but super fun and adorable. So banner, that's one fun idea for washi tape. Then we also made a little bit of a drip down strip. So it was like washi tape drip down strip. I was so inspired by the stamping from last week. I'm thinking about all the drippy stuff now. And these were like my drip down strips. And then I turned it and I'm like, oh, hello, that's beautiful too. So I would totally use it like that. So that was just a fun, simple way to use some washi tape. And then I was like, let's do this really fun thing. So I found a site called Scrapping with Christine, and I found her on Instagram. So her stuff was there too. And she had made this beautiful like sun ray page, which was gorgeous. So please feel free to check that out on her Insta. You kind of got to go down. It was like way down, way down. She has beautiful stuff. So if you're not following her, Christine Meyer or Myers, one or the other. And yeah, beautiful. Scrapping with Christine. But this was my inspiration. I started making it yesterday. I got it finished. And I just wanted to show you, like, I added these little thin strips of washi that have little golden arrows on it. And so they catch the light when you're holding the layout and they like shine and just add that perfect little glimmering sunshine effect to the page. So I was like super happy with how that turned out. And then I had showed you how I was starting to make something with little loops of washi tape. I was so excited because I'm like, this is a fun idea. I know it's going to be really cool. So I sat and I worked on it and and we got it done. Oh, it's all the way down at the bottom. So here we go. This is the little background that I made with the loops of washi tape, which I thought was so much fun. It was literally just a piece of peeling the washi and I kind of made a loop, but I knew that eventually the loops would close up. So they would be more like little flaps of washi tape. But yeah, Gina's like, that came out great. I know, I'm like so excited about how all of this happened. And so I layered it up with a little bit of foam tape around the edges and have it sitting underneath. And you can see like how fun that texture is in here, right? Like, oh, so fun. And yeah, with different types of washi tape. Now, some of them might lift up a little bit, but I think once it's in my page, it's pretty much going to stick. If an area starts lifting, I'll just go in with a little bit of liquid adhesive and really stick it down, right? So, I understand that that may need a little bit, but right now it's looking pretty good. So I picked a color palette with yellow and green and light kind of teal and then a darker teal. And so all of the colors are kind of in that family. And then I found this fabulous paper that's been sitting in my stash for a million years. It was it has like a cool little shiny dimension to it. It was from Close to My Heart from some packet that they put out ages ago. But I think that turned out so good. I was just like super fun. So if you wanted to try this, I did learn a couple of tips. What I found was that as you're setting them up, it really helped to stagger the loops. So having them in vertical columns was the easiest. It helped if all of the washi tape was the same width, because otherwise it was a little bit of a nightmare. But when I was staggering them, I kind of did them so that I had, I put all my washi tape away. Oh, here, I can just use this. I'll be needing some of this later today. So when I created the loops, I just created a loop like this, and then I tore them off and I stuck them onto my sheet like this. So I had these little loops, and I knew eventually they might close up. Who cares? But when I was creating my next loop, I would stagger this with a different color, right kind of where this one met up, so that possibly they were overlapping at the seam, but not necessarily. Pretty much, like they're pretty much overlapping at the seams if we wanted to look there. But then here was the trick. When I added the next one in, when I created the little loop, I stuck this one more to the center. And like, I didn't figure this out in the beginning. I kind of started doing several areas. It would have been easier had I worked from one side and gone across, but having these little loops so that they're staggered like this, so I've got my loops here and these ones are slightly offset, I think it looks like so much nicer. So those were some of the things that kind of went into making this. If you wanted to play, if you wanted to create, if you do something like similar, please, please, please tag me on Instagram or get in touch with me somehow and let me know, because I thought that was so fun. Vicki says, I love this page, Alice. I really like the teal paper. Yeah, when I came across that, I was like going through, I was looking for something in one of those shades. At first I thought maybe I would just cover it with white paper, but it just didn't have all the pop. But I was smart, because I had done the page the other day. I cut this, the white layer first, and I cut it with my green blade from Creative Memories. So I was using that circle cutter. So that's the mid blade. So then if I didn't want to have the white as the edge, I could underlay another color by using the blue, or I could overlay a different color using the red blade. So that was really smart. So you learn as you go. Marcia says, you're very patient. It took a while. You can see just even laying down like 3 little strips takes a while. Having the different colors on the go, like, you know, it worked out good, but I am so in love with the effect, and it's just so fun. You want to hear what it kind of sounds like? Doesn't that sound fun? Like a title page, says Tina. Yeah, it definitely could be a fun title page. But yeah, I would just use that for anything. I think it's gorgeous, and it's going to be fun. I can't wait to see, because I will definitely be using it during our load challenge. Like, I feel so ready for load, having made so many fun different kinds of pages this last month. Like, so many fun backgrounds. Just as a reminder, this was the one that I did the other day with the little fringe using that striped paper, where I just cut slats into the striped paper, and then from the slats I used my fringe scissors to mess it up, and then I gave it a little bit of a wonky haircut to add a little extra dimension. Okay, let's take this off of the screen because that's in the way. And yeah, just so much fun. Oh my gosh. So all the fun stuff with washi tape. I did see Lindsay had tagged me on Instagram, and she said, Alice, I did it. She made some of those pages too. She did like the little stripes down the page, and she had made a little banner. So shout out to Lindsay for not only making her pages, but for showing me too. So I really appreciated that. It was so fun. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. How is that even being like, sorry guys. Apparently Telus is trying to call me. That's my phone company. So yeah, so that's what's happening. That was what happened yesterday. And okay, so I've been talking to you all about this and how I've been wanting my orders. I have 2 orders coming and I've wanted them to arrive. Lindsay, she's here. Yay! I didn't know if you were here. I hadn't seen your comment. So I've been waiting on 2 orders to arrive. The one from scrapbook.com came in, but I just checked and the website for the local scrapbook store, I hadn't seen when I placed the order, but they are in the middle of a little renovation in their store. They're going to be done tomorrow, or they're supposed to be done tomorrow. So I'm a little sad because the timing couldn't have been like a little better for me. But I didn't get that order, but I did get my one from scrapbook.com. And I thought there was a couple fun things that maybe we should play with and like have a little sampling with. First thing, I don't know if we'll end up playing with it today or not. I got one of these alcohol ink air blowers. So this is from Ranger, and it's basically like the little thing that you put like, you know, the baby nose aspirator thing. So you can move your ink. So you just squish it and push that around. So now you're not blowing with a straw. Now you're not like blowing onto the page and getting all lightheaded. And now you aren't trying to use like a heat tool necessarily to move that around either, because you don't always want to add heat to your project. So I got it. I'll tell you, this rubber on this thing, like it feels like legit good. So I think it feels like a great quality thing. I'm pretty sure I will have it in my stash for 10 million years. Like somewhere I have a brayer. I've had it forever and ever, and I probably will always have it. I haven't pulled that out for a long time, actually. But yeah, I'm not going to save the packaging because realistically, I'm not going to put it back in there. So that will go. But how fun, hey? The other thing that I got that I saw recently that was kind of taking one of our common supplies and kind of leveling it up a little bit are these new rounded and foam applicators. So these are the scrapbook.com ones. There's also some from Ranger that just came out with the rounded tips. And I just thought it might be cool to see a little bit of the difference in the blending that we can do with the 2 different styles. I saw Simon Hurley using the ones from Ranger because that's what he had, but they have a little bit of a firmer base to them. So I think peeling them on and off of those little wooden mounts will be a little bit easier because, you know, they're not exactly easy to peel these off. I end up detaching my, Velcro from it a lot. In fact, I had pulled one and it actually pulled the staple right out, and now the little Velcro piece isn't even attached. I still have it, but it doesn't stick just with the stuff, and so it really needs something to hold it in there a little bit better. So Lindsay says she has one of the blower tools. Have you used it? Have you done fun things? Maybe we could do it with a little bit of watercolor today and play with some watercolor, because I did get one other thing that I will show you in a second. But yeah, using these ones, these go on. I think you have less harsh edges, so I should be able to get a smoother blend at the edges than I would with these ones, but also like so much easier because they're a little bit firmer. The foam is soft, maybe not as soft as the other ones, so we'll see how that picks up the ink, but because the base is a little bit firmer, it seems nice. So I guess we'll see. We'll play with that today and compare. We'll do like some side-by-side comparisons to see what that's like. But yeah, I'd ordered these from scrapbook.com because I was ordering from them and they popped up and I'm like, perfect. Wanted to get me some of those. And then I got some more colors of this Glitz glitter gel from Gina K. So the cool thing about her Glitz glitter gel is that it is a clear kind of gluey gel, and it is all of the color is actually from the sparkles. So it's basically just glitter, but in a gooey gel form so that you can apply it in different ways and you're not dealing with all of the glitter, because we know how much we don't like that. But I got some new colors. I got some nice gold. I got some nice teal. I have a red right now, and that's all I have of that. So I was excited to get some more of those. I did get another alcohol ink, but most of the alcohol inks that I had ordered were actually from the other scrapbook store. I ordered some mix-ins, some additives, and I wanted to really play with that, adding it to like the alcohol ink on the Yuppo. So since I'm probably not going to have that, maybe I'll come back one day in May and we'll have like a little reprisal of that, because I think with the metallic add-ins, it'll just take that to another level. Another thing that I picked up, because I am the crazy obsessed chicken lady, was this. It is a obviously chicken wire, but it's like a reverse chicken wire. A lot of the chicken wire stencils that I've seen actually have the little wires, and then you're kind of coloring the whole background. Whereas this one, you're actually coloring the chicken wire part and not the background, which I thought was really nice. I actually kind of prefer this look. So they call it chicken wire reversed. And it's from like the Crafter's Workshop. So I thought this was really fun. I think that would be fun. Can you imagine doing it with like either like one of my new glitter gels? That might be like beautiful. So that's a fun thing. But the thing I wanted us to start with playing today, now where did I set them? Okay, here we go. No, I have a couple other things to show you first. So I have never had the chance to play with this before. And I finally got some. I finally got some of the Vicki Boutin Foundations paper. So this is White Foundations Mixed Media Art Paper. This is just on the cover, right? So the little design that you're seeing there, that's just on the cover of it. It's white paper. They just showed you how pretty it could be if you like make art like Vicki Boutin. So this foundation paper is nice and thick, and it's supposed to take mixed media super well. Like I said, I haven't used it, so I thought maybe today we could play, especially if we do a little bit of watercolor, and then maybe I can pump some of that watercolor around with my new little pump. I know that it says alcohol ink. That's just a suggestion. That's just to get you started. Okay, so foundations paper. Another new product that it's not new, but it's like kind of like new again, if you know what I mean. Like for a while we didn't see rub-ons anywhere, but I'm seeing rub-ons again in a few different ways, and I thought these were so gorgeous. They're from 49 Market, and they're rub-on transfers, but there's a few different ones in this package, and you can see how they could add a lot to your scrapbook pages. I really liked these ones with like the partial doilies, because I think that if we're planning a layout, putting that little bit of like doily effect behind part of it would be kind of perfect. And having a few different options, like you got a few more of them. There's also some cool little line effects and splatter effects and words, of course. So little sayings, some more, like these ones have words on them, but they're not really about the words. They're more like about the splattery texture effect. But like, oh, these flowers are so pretty. And like lovely greenery, more of the doilies but in green. So I thought this was beautiful, and I thought that's like so nice for creating extra layers without adding a lot of extra bulk. And some people like using doilies, but some people don't like using doilies because they're worried about like, is that doily actually acid free? Some people are more concerned with that. Vicki says, I haven't tried the foundation paper, but I'm glad to watch you use it. Lindsay says, I hoard my Vicki Boutin mixed media paper. I pull it out for special occasions. Danelle says she loves Vicki's paper. And Yeah, so Danielle's like, are rub-ons a thing again? Cool. I used to use them all the time. Yeah, I've seen a few different companies come out with different versions. A couple years ago, Bo Bunny did some fabulous metallic ones that they had lots of like border strips and fun things. When you applied them, they applied like, oh, so good. But I found that the metallic surface on them almost faded under pressure. So if you rubbed your finger over them a little bit, they didn't kind of hold up to that very well. I think long term on your page, maybe they would set better or something, but they were kind of like so nice off the beginning and just not quite as nice in the usage. These look like they'd be good. I'm hoping that they're good. Um, but I've also seen some cool transfers from a company called Dress My Craft, and they came out with transfers that you actually you cut them out and you put them on your thing, and then you actually like get them wet to apply them, kind of like those kids' little tattoos. I say tattoos when I point at my arm because that's what we always did. We stuck them there on the kids, right? So here, let me stick your tattoo on. Yeah, so kind of like that. These ones, of course, are just rub-ons, but that's so pretty for just creating that little bit of texture, color in the background. You know, since white pages are such a thing right now, this would be perfect. But the great thing is with a rub-on, you can put those pretty designs on any color of page that you're using. So, you know, if you're using like a soft pink or a soft green or, you know, whatever you're doing, that they work really good. I do recommend with rub-ons that you don't use textured cardstock. Like they usually work, but they don't work very well. So if you're doing rub-ons, find that nice flat paper. Choose the flat paper. Okay, now here's the other thing that I got. You know that I've been a little obsessed with layered stencils. Well, Altenew also has layered stencils, and I was like, ooh, that's really pretty. This one is their Tranquility Rose Simple Coloring Stencil Set. It is a set of 4 stencils. I really liked, though, that like in this base one here, they actually gave you all of the little inset pieces so that if you wanted to do something a little different with those and you wanted to like blend around the outside, you could stick this down and kind of fade color around that, which might be a really cool effect if you're trying to get color right up to your design but not kind of contaminate it. You can mask it off with this. So I thought that was nice that they included those bonus pieces and the background pieces. So you've got your main flower and then you've got some leaves. But then like they have these extra layers, and these all made sense to me, right? So here, if I lay this out, you can see it really well on the camera. So these all made sense to me. And then I'm looking at this and I'm like, how does that work? Turns out they have like a whole different designs on this stencil here. So there's like little bunches of baby flowers and different things on here. So I haven't actually seen how this part goes, but it allows you to add different little colors and little extra baby flowers and stuff like that, and some little baby leaves. And so I thought that was interesting that, you know, they did it like this. So thought maybe we should start there and then we'll play with a little bit of watercolor. Should we start there? We've seen layered stencils, right? We've seen layered stencils. I think we should play with the foundation paper and test these sponge things. Let's start there. And then if we had some time, we'll go to here. I'm not going to promise that we'll have time for this, but I'm really excited about them. So it's like, let's start there. No, we shouldn't. We should start with the other stuff, or then we'll never get to it. Okay, so let's put those away. Okay, so the foundation paper. Okay, so it's attached and it has like little creases to fold it out of there and tear it out of there. Is it gonna tear out nice? It's so thick that it tears out nice. There you go. So 12 sheets, here's sheet number 1. So first thoughts on this is already that when you pull something out of a thing like that, you always get that little jaggedy edge. I'm not super fond of those, so I probably will take a sanding block and sand that off of there. I don't know. Tell me, like, does that kind of stuff bother you, or are you kind of like so don't care about that, Alice? I'd love to know because it's like, am I the only one being obsessive? But like that kind of stuff bugs me. So I thought I had my watercolors. Hey, I probably do. That's a scary thing. Oh, I know. I had my travel bag. I've got my travel watercolors. Okay, so it's not my fancy palette. It's my smaller palette, but that's okay because I love the colors in this one too. So, this is the one that I have from Close to My Heart, and I think this is the actual brush that I got when I got when I got this set. Maybe, I don't know, but it works really great, so I love it. Vicki says, do those have the plastic guides on the back that the other did for the stencils? No, they don't. So I was looking really closely. Let's go back to this just for a second. There are no markings on here at all to show me what's the front, what's the back, and what order that they should go in. So I probably will try to press something into it. And I think to use this one, I would probably choose to, look at somebody's video to see what you're actually supposed to do with some of this. I'm really just not sure how it layers up. Like, did the top ones layer and the bottom ones layer separately? I don't really know. There's there's no instructions in the package that tell me, right? It just says add paint or mist or embossing or glitter, like, which I'm like, yeah, I know that, but how do we actually make this look pretty? And it doesn't actually tell me that. So this one is not as, like, these ones are simple, right? That's like a super starter level. I can do that. But it's just that fourth page that's leaving me with a few questions. But it's so pretty. Plus, there's a matching stamp. So if you had the matching stamp and then you have this, it sounds like they are like interchangeable and will work together. I'm like, that would be an extra little bit of fun. An extra little bit of fun. So Lindsay says, I trim or sand that edge too. We're on the same wavelength. Janelle says, honestly, since the layout's going in a page protector anyway, the ragged edges on the paper don't bother me. But I can totally see how it bothers others. And is the Vicki paper a bit longer than 12 by 12? That's a great question, Deetra. That's like a super good question, because if it is, then it would make sense to trim it off. And I don't know this about it yet. So let's put it on my trimmer and line it up. No, it's not. It is pretty much right there at that mark. In fact, if I put it right at the mark, I can't even trim off those little edges. Like, they're not coming off. So it's exactly. But that was a super good question. Okay, so I'm not going to prep the paper in any way because, we want to test it. I have my water. I did good. I have that. I have my brush. I have my color. I'm going to spray my palette to kind of prep it so that it's wet and kind of gets ready for application. And then we will go. I'm so excited. I don't even know what to color and what to like make. I'm like thinking like, what kind of blend should we create on here? When in doubt, I try to go to like one of my favorite color palettes. I think what I'll do is I'll do a color blend that goes from greens to blues to like purpley pinks. That might be nice, right? It's not the full-on rainbow. It's more of a condensed rainbow. I know, darn, I know. Like if it was a little bit more than 12, then I could just cut it and I'd be like super happy. But it's going to make me so happy anyways. So I think I'm going to apply a little bit of water. It's not watercolor paper, right? So I know that I'm doing watercolor first. I just want to see how it works on watercolor since it's something that I enjoy using so much. little bit more. And maybe it would be better if I went in with less water and more direct color too. I don't know. We'll just see how much it bends. That's what I want to see. How much bend is in this paper. And I'm trying to keep it kind of in the center of the palette here so that it's a little, so I kind of have like a natural border around the edges. That one doesn't have a lot of water in it. Let's throw a little more water in there. So we'll blend this all in. So far, it's bending a little. I can feel it like kind of popping up where I'm getting it wet, but it seems pretty good so far. So we're off to a good start. Let's just say that. And let's take a little more of this color. Isn't this a nice color palette, the way they blend together? It's so pretty. Oh, that's funny. My cameras shake when my husband opens and closes the door in the garage. Because I am up above the garage. I'm gonna add a little bit of this blue in here too. Those two blues are actually really similar. And I'm gonna blend those. Here we go. So off to a fun start with this paper, let me tell you. I'm liking this. And then we'll try using it with a stencil. We'll pull out the stuff and we'll do stenciling with it as well. I want this blue to be a little darker. I wish they actually had a blue that was a little darker in this palette. Sometimes I add a little bit of a smoky kind of black into the blue just to give that one little bit more dark. But there's not really a nice like indigo midnight kind of blue in this palette. But otherwise I really love it. So, you know, whatever. Oh, I didn't want to go into that color first. I wanted this purple first. We're going to put that purple beside that blue. And that's going to be pretty. I'm just trying to do this fast because honestly, like, I think with watercolor stuff, just going in and getting her done is a little better. It's easier on your paper if you're working the areas a little bit less too. And at the end, it's just going to be so pretty, so it's not going to... And then I'll grab this raspberry color for us to finish it off. I didn't add as much water in there. Okay, so now the question comes in, how does it dry? Like, I didn't do a ton of blending between the colors in this. I think that's going to be okay, but it's not, so it's not blending as much as it would if I had used watercolor maybe, but I think this area here needs just a little touch more color. Doesn't it look a little pale? Oh yes, the blue than the purple. Dawn is like enjoying that. Add here. I agree. It looks so lovely. So let's see, that was probably this bluish in here. Oh yeah, it just needed a little more of that, hey? Let's bring in a little bit more. Trying not to overwork it, but you know, sometimes you see an area that just needs a little bit. Okay. Okay. I think that's good. I'm going to let that dry as we try the next fun thing. And yeah, I think that's going to be really pretty. Now, if this had like, already been dry, I would actually go in with my stencil right on top of this, and why not go for that? But it's not going to be dry for a few minutes, so we'll just try the stencil on something else. Actually, maybe what we'll do is we'll wait for this to dry and we'll test these little blenders. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm just gonna set this to the side here so you can kind of see, like, I'm not cheating. It's just sitting there drying. It's just sitting there drying. Okay, let's bring, this one looks like my peacock color. Do I want that? Oh, I really like this ocean side. Let's do ocean side. I think this is probably the same one. I was using the same one on both of those colors. Just because I was lazy about switching. Okay, so we're going to try this, and we're going to take just a regular sheet of paper. I have one yesterday that I cut that hole out of, so I'm just going to trim this down so it's a little less gigantic. I'll cut a 4-inch piece, and that way if I make something nice with it, I can use it for a card front. So let's trim that down to my regular card front size. And we'll see about how these two different pieces blend. I might need to stamp a little bit of this off. Make sure I have the right color on this thing first. Okay, just make sure I've got this inked with the right color. So one thing, even just here going and pressing down to it, you really see like the round edges of the sponge, right? So even as I'm kind of blending it, and this is not a, this is not Distress Oxide, this is a dye ink. So I think Distress Oxide could be a little bit of a different effect. Now, one thing, as you ink this, you'll notice that it's sitting on the top edge, but it's really not looking as dark. So, but there seems to be a lot of color still there. So I'm pouncing it on the pad, and there's a lot of color there, but it doesn't look nearly as dark. So something. So is the ink staying more in this foam rather than on the foam so that we can apply it, right? Because we don't really care what color this turns out to be. It's all about how it applies it to the product. So let me blend this out. So as I go here, you can definitely see like some of the polka dotty effect, but you're definitely not seeing those little ring lines. So I think we're gonna get like a much smoother blend with this. Yeah, I could totally try using a blow dryer on that layout. We'll just give it a time. We'll play with these for a moment and kind of see. So already I'm seeing like this like line edges, but let's try blending a little. Let's try a little bit of blending. So normally when we blend, here, I'll go in with this one first because that's the one that most of us already have in our stash, right? So mostly when we start, we kind of start off the paper and coming onto the paper to create our blend. Don't judge the faces that I make. Oh my gosh. When I'm like doing something like this, I make like the worst faces. It's so bad. I just like looked up and I'm like, oh, don't do that. So I'm trying to get like a really nice soft look here at the very edge of this blend. Or fade or ombre or whatever you want to call what I'm doing here. Okay, let me pull this off of here just so that I'm not mucking everything up. So that looks okay. And this is the one done with the regular foam that most of us might already have in our stash. So now I'm going to turn it around because that's the way I work. I'm going to turn it around and we're going to try it. I just wanted to use the same color so I can see like how much pressure it might take to kind of get the same depth of the colors. Otherwise I could totally use different colors and like it would be. So it definitely feels like this one feels different. And I know this isn't the Ranger one, so if the ends are different than the Ranger one, that's something that I don't know because I don't have those ones. But so one thing I'm seeing, it's not quite as dark yet. I haven't applied it as many times, but the soft edges are definitely softer. So we're checking that out. Okay. So this is this one, and this is this one. So if I hold them like that, we can tell, right? So we got the bubble one at the top right now. And you can see how much smoother that blend is. I could try making it a little bit lighter down at the bottom here. But like this one, as it gets lighter, you still see like those little round, almost like cloud effects, right? They almost look like little bubbly clouds. But with this one, I don't have those cloud effects at all. And so I think if I just take this and blend this a little bit more, like it's definitely smoother, right? Like you're not seeing the little lines that you get from the edge of this one that has, it's got like a 90-degree edge on that foam, whereas this one doesn't have that. I'm liking it a lot more. So what are your thoughts? Any thoughts? Or you're like, that's totally not enough of a difference for me to really care? That's fine too. But, you know, sometimes just a little change in our tools can make a change in what we're doing. Here, let me cut another little piece. And I'm going to grab my blender brush and we're going to compare the effect that we get with a blender brush to this, because I think that would be another good comparison to make. So, okay, let's just wipe this off so that I don't purposely cover my fingers in a million colors. If it happens accidentally, it's gonna happen, right? But I don't have to like encourage it. Okay, so I don't know if I have like how well I cleaned this thing last time. Looks like it has a tiny bit of color in it. It's not too bad. So this is the Concord and 9th Oceanside color that I'm using here. I'm just gonna use the scratch paper to make sure that I have the right color kind of in my brush. Sophia says, hello, late to the party as ever. Gina says, I like the new ones. Yeah, they're looking really smooth compared to the other ones. Okay, so now it looks like I've got the right color in here. So let's go on to this. So this top part is the round brush, the new rounded foam. And then this bottom one is the regular straight edge foam that we're familiar with. But let's try to see kind of how a blender brush. Now, is this the world's greatest blender brush? No, it's not as nice as my Gina K ones. I can tell you that already. Like, I haven't tried a gazillion different kinds. I don't have the ones with all the pretty little handles yet. I've seen some really cute ones from, Catherine Pooler. She had some cute ones. I love the ones that I got from Gina K. So lots of really fun ones. So what I'm seeing here is that I'm not getting the depth of the color as easily with my brush. Not getting the depth of color as easily with the brush, but the little fine edges are looking super blendy. In fact, you can actually see where I was like stabbing my paper a little bit. But the edges, but you're not seeing the depth of color. I'm like wondering if I can actually even get it to be looking as dark. So I'm just like really going in here now. Okay, let's hold that up. So it's definitely like a million times better than what you got with that straight edge foam. Comparable to the other one, yes. I would say that when I'm using this, the ink almost feels like it's sitting more on the surface of the paper rather than sinking in, which is what I get more of that effect when I'm using the foam daubers. Thoughts? Thoughts? So if you have these, you know, upgrading to these ones might be a really great effect, especially if you haven't gone to the blender brushes. Now, I will say using blender brushes with stencils is pretty fabulous. So I like the ease of using them with a stencil, but maybe that would change if I was using, you know, like one of these. How are they going to work with a stencil? I don't know. But we could check. But we can check. So yeah, that's interesting. That's a really cool comparison because you can see like the little cloud effect. If you wanted to make the little cloud effect look like the tops of clouds or something, that's kind of fun. That would definitely work. So Lindsay says that's what I find too. It takes longer with the brushes to get the color to look darker, but the color seems smoother and less splotchy than when she's using the foam. So we're on the same page. Now this is kind of drying, but you can see there's still like wet puddles on here, right? It's trying, but I don't know that we're gonna get to there. Just don't know. I think we should just try to make like one of these flowers, and I'm gonna try using that rounded foam and using the to kind of compare. So let's do that. So we'll do a side-by-side comparison, I think. Okay, I already have this blue out here. Do I need to move the blue away? Okay, so this is definitely a little bit easier to take off of here, but still, like, I wish these stuck on there better, like the actual Velcro. I find that very annoying. I just need to get more of the little handles, I think, and then I would have to do less changing and I would be happier. I think that could make the difference. Okay, so we're gonna go with that, and we're going to, oh, where's my pink brush? Good question. Oh, I have everything stashed on this desk. Wow, I need to clean up. Like, I always have to clean up, but this is looking like really bad. This is, oh, I found my yellow. I didn't find the pink. Okay, so we're gonna try some yellow. Not pink. That's okay. Do I have a little yellow flat one though? I don't know that I... Oh no, I was gonna do rounded, so we'll do that. Oh, look at that. So annoying. 4. I like the blending dome ones. I agree. I'm liking that dome. I think it's looking good. So okay, so this is going to have a new dome. Like, I just set that down. That one didn't get lost yet. Not yet. So I'm gonna put this color away. We're gonna pull out my buttercup color. Or should we use some different? Oh no, like we'll use this. Okay. So I'm just gonna put this flower in the top corner of this, and I'm just going to work on the flower part itself. I'm not gonna do a bunch of the other stuff. And I'm gonna line that up, And that way I should have easy lineup for the rest of the templates. Okay. And then I'll sub in this other one. So I'm going to start with this rounded foam. That seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. Then I'll do this with the brush. We're gonna do, I can't see that corner. Can't see the corner. Let's line those ones up, stick it down, and we'll do that. And now I'll go in with this one with, oh, and see I got a really strong color patch there because I went off of the edge, but it also gathered a lot more color right there. Okay, so that's layer one. Now let's try the next layer. As far as I can tell, like this, I'm just stepping them down in the layer. So this one has more open space, so I'm going to use that as layer two. So I think for layer two, I'm going to use the same yellow, or should I not? No, let's use a different yellow. This is not necessarily looking like it lines up perfectly. I'm really unsure. Is it not supposed to, or am I just needing to line it up myself better? Questions. Okay, that looks like it's lined up right there because this is the one I was doing with the brush, and that's the one I was doing with here. So let's steal those tapes. Steal the tapes. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure because I haven't played with this before, so we'll see. And I'm gonna go in and make this darker in these areas just with this same yellow, and then I'll use a different color for the final finishing touches. But this should be, because I'm going more directly on top. So there is some like delicateness to this stencil, and I notice it wiggles a little bit, so. But it's looking pretty. Off to a good start. Line this one up as best as I can. It's really a matter of eyeballing what you think it should line up as, I guess. Ah! I moved my stencil. So these ones, I'm almost wondering if I shouldn't dauber them a little bit because this foam catches the stencil a little bit more. I'm feeling like I almost need to dauber it rather than blend it like I do with the other brush. A little bit more pouncing than blending. Okay, but that looks beautiful. We're off to a good start. And then we'll go in and use the third template. Now here's the question, like which part of this is supposed to be highlighted? Am I just supposed to kind of put it in the center and just call that good? I don't really know. I thought maybe the corners were supposed to line up, but it doesn't seem like that's the case. So I don't know if there's like a more designed system for lining them up. If there is, maybe I should have watched a video. But we don't always watch a video before we use something like this. So I think the way I'm approaching it is fair. So their only other yellow color is kind of the Stardust, which I'm not super fond of. So I'm actually going to go in with Grapefruit and use that instead. And I'm just going to use my yellow brush because this is going to have a little bit of grapefruit on it. So it makes it look a little orangey. It's actually not a very orangey color, but mixed with this. Oh, look how pretty that is. Even if I didn't line it up perfect, I guess there's no way of knowing. Shamel and Wonder Boy have called the pouncing motion with the domed applicators booping, and you have to say boop as you boop it each time. Thanks, Sophia, that's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna just line this up. I don't know if this is in the best spot. I really have no idea. I wish there was some kind of guide that helped me figure this out because, you know, it's just leaving me questioning whether I'm doing it right. And I don't want to, like, be questioning whether I'm, like, good at doing this stuff. So boop, 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 boop. I'm booping way too much to say that every time. But we'll just pop that in there. We'll boop it in there. And I think that, you know, for this one that's really narrow like this, like just there's a few little details that are being added, it makes perfect sense. Oh, and I got like a darker coloration. Maybe it'll dry a little. But look at how pretty these are. I think either one is going to look beautiful. This one's still a little wet, so don't judge it quite like the other one yet. So give it a second and it'll fade just a little bit. But, oh, yeah. So this is from Altenew. This is the Tranquility Rose Simple Coloring Stencil Set. That's what it's called. That's what it looks like. I got it from scrapbook.com. I'll put my affiliate link on the screen because, you know, I have one and it's really sweet if you choose to use it. So bit.ly/scrappyshop. This is really pretty. I will say, like, I got a little bit more color and depth in my second layer with the foam, or like, with the brush rather than the foam. But that could have just been, like, how heavy-handed I was in applying the color on that one. Whereas I was heavier-handed on that last one with this. So, you know, it's just a matter of, like, how much color you're actually applying. But I think that's pretty fabulous. I'm just going to set those there. I'll pop my colors back onto my thing. But overall, I would say that was a lot better than what I would have done with these more rounded ones. The regular kind of square edge ones. I think that my color was easier to work with this, and you don't get those little harsh lines. Like that's what we saw in this as I was blending. So this was the straight edge one. This is the new domed one. And then this was my brush. So seeing the difference of that, if I was to buy just one, say you have no tools, if I was just going to buy one, I would buy these ones. Because I like the way that they work with a stencil. You have to be less delicate. You have to be less delicate. Sometimes I'm a little bit heavy-handed. And so the fact that I can get super nice blends a lot easier with the brush, the blender brush, I would choose that. But if I was going to include these ones in my stash, I would definitely go with these dome tips. So that is my overall thought on those. But these are pretty. This is like super nice. I have to say, I'm a fan. Like that's a pretty set. Okay, let's have a look really quickly at this. And it is not fully dry, so I will not be getting stenciling on this yet today. But it is not fully dry. But I want you to look at how, like, you can see a little bit of warping in it. But it's not too much warping. Here, let me get that out of the way. But it's not too much warping, so it's pretty good. I'm quite impressed. I'll show you tomorrow how this paper has dried. I might put a little bit of textury stuff, might use some of that glitter gel over top of it to create a little bit of a fun effect on there. But overall, I'm pretty excited about the new supplies that I've brought into my room because they are giving me some more fun opportunities. Sophia says, to be honest, I think I'd find those much easier to use than the layered up flower stamps that were all the rage a year or two back. But I got one, it was hard to use and a bit fiddly. See, I found that with layered stamps, I'm usually pretty good at knowing where they have to go, but maybe it's just a matter of having played with those a lot more. Certain flowers are easier because it's like, oh, they make them a little bit easier to line up. Yeah, I think that if this also has a stamp, I'm going to be like looking. I'll be really tempted to add the stamp for this because I think that with a stamp, I could get some different fun effects that I might not be able to get. I'm putting it on my desk for you to see, but like I can get some different effects with the stamp that I'm not getting with this. I'm excited. I really like the fact that they included those negative pieces, like the little cutout pieces, because now I can take this piece, I can line it up. It might take me a second to figure out which way it goes. I might have it upside down, but once I line it up, there you go. Once I line it up, I can mask around it and I can do all kinds of fun things around that space too. And sometimes if you come up with this great idea after you've already stamped your flower or made your beautiful flower, it's hard to get other colors and things right up close to it. And this would definitely help me do that. So different things. So I was impressed with that. That is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me for this Happy at Home session. Tomorrow, April 30th, it is our last one. We are going to be celebrating. We're going to be looking back at some of the things we've done and maybe like playing a little bit along the way and be like, oh my gosh, do you remember doing this? So expect to have a lot of fun tomorrow in our final Happy at Home for the month of April. Can't believe it. Yeah, Diane says those turn out so pretty. I love the colors. Yeah, all of these, like, so nice, right? Like, just so good. So good. I'm so happy. I just love playing with this stuff. So join me tomorrow. I'll be back at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern time for our final Happy at Home session of this April. We actually start our load challenge tomorrow night is when the first prompt goes out. I can't believe that we're already here. If you are not familiar, we are doing Load. It is a layout a day challenge where we're going to be scrapbooking every day in the month of May, inspired by the Golden Girls. So it is called Load 521 Live Golden. And I can't wait to get started on this. So you can use the code podcast15 to save $15 on registration. If you're not a Scrap Happy member yet, you can use that same code and sign up for membership at scraphappy.org. So thank you for some creative fun. It was my first time. What time tomorrow? So 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern time. So it was the same time as this, just tomorrow. So yeah, and yeah, it's gonna be fun to wrap it up and kind of look back at what an amazing month of creativity it has been. We've made some fun things. Even I can barely remember some of the stuff that we've made, and it's just been fantastic. Thank you for sharing your new treasures with us today. You're so welcome. For me, it was just like, how is this going to add a little bit more creativity to some of the stuff that we're already doing? So I'm like, it's a little bit of a haul, but mostly I just want to just be like, here's what I've done. This is why I've added more to this section. Layered stencils. This isn't the only one I got. The other ones were from Pink Fresh, and we did a whole day with a Pink Fresh stencil, so it was great. Sophia says, thanks for streaming. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back tomorrow. I hope you'll join me. Bye, everyone.